So we're going to start with just the intro to the demo. So you can put this like maybe on page one or page two of the manual, because regardless of whether or not you are doing an in-home presentation or a virtual demo, you have tons of opportunity to build a ton of rapport before the rapport building part starts, right? So on Zoom, you have to look forward a little bit more. So if I'm on Zoom with a customer, I'd be looking at their background. So if I'm, if I'm talking to Ben right now, I'm like, all right, so I see we got the security system up, because over Ben's right shoulder, there's a little camera with a little cord. And so I'm gonna notice that that's a camera, and I'm gonna be like, all right, so, just in case someone tries to rob your house while we're on the demo, you can make sure to see it. And so it instantly puts them off of their game. Yeah, because they showed up with like an agenda of, I think they're going to try to sell me something, so don't get taken advantage of. That's the mindset of a customer when they're hopping on what they think is going to be a sales call, but they're not really sure. So they're like, all right, have your wits about you, because this person might be kind of sneaky and they might be trying to sell you something crappy. And so entertain this. It's kind of like when you voluntarily go to a timeshare presentation. You know it's going to be a good salesperson. You know that you're getting something out of it. And what they're getting out of this is they're going to help you out. They're helping out a college kid, right? So they get to like feel good about that, which is sort of like the equivalent of like, I'm getting a free dinner like they would have if they were going to a stupid timeshare thing, right? But they're like, all right, keep your wits about you. Don't get swindled. And so instantly by doing something like that, it sort of it removes the sales environment. Again, if you're at the customer's house, it's so much easier because there's so many more points to be able to point at, right? So all of a sudden, you're looking at there's pets, right? Pets are the easiest thing to break the ice with, right? And you have to lose yourself in the moment, and maybe they have pets in the background. Pets in the background, stop doing the demo, talk about the pets. I don't care if it's in the middle of the demo. You're like, and the next piece of Cutco is oh my God, your cat. Tell me about them. You have to go hardcore because that's how they are when you're not there about their cats. The objective is, how can you be like how they are when people aren't there? How do you become intimate? Well, you talk about the things that they're excited about, that they're intimate with. Intimate's basically just like, what are you the closest, most connected with? Okay. Little kids. Oh, you got kids? What's their name? Can I say hi? Can I say hi to them? Means, hey, bring your kid over. And that's so interesting for the child. They're like, what? You're on a work meeting? Because that's all they've ever seen Mrs. Jones in. Hey, you're on a work meeting and your person that you're working with wants to talk to me. You're always shutting me up when you're on your work meetings. So that totally breaks the ice. Same thing with the husband. Is that your husband? Hey, can I say hi to them? How you doing, Mr. Blank? Nice to meet you. I'm Ben. I'm a student here at Texas State University, and I just want to say thank you so much for letting me kind of, do my presentation. Do you want to see what this actually is, or can your wife buy whatever she wants? And I just do a big smile, like big cheesy teeth. And he was like, "What do you mean buy whatever she wants?" She's like, "Well, I'm going to show her really awesome stuff for the kitchen. Do you want to check it out? Because there's some cool stuff for like the garden and barbecuing and hunting and fishing too." If he's like, no, be like, no, do whatever you want. You're like, all right, did you hear that, Mrs. Jones? You can do whatever you want. Right. And so again, that's a little personal, like, breaking past the little rapport, walls that she builds up for herself. And I would just ask her stuff about her home at the beginning. Be like, Mrs. Jones, tell me about what's your favorite room of your house? Everybody's got a room in their house they really like or they've spent more time. Hey, tell me what's your favorite piece of artwork? Can you show it to me? You want me to show it to you? Yeah, yeah. Encourage her to move, encourage her to like get outside of I'm in a sale for as long as you can, 10 to 15 minutes. It's great. All right, Mrs. Jones. Well, you ready to get started? Awesome. All right. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself and share your goals like we did yesterday at the meeting. And then you proceed on to the demo. Now, during the demo, there's tons of opportunity to build rapport too. So initially is when you're cutting the penny. That's the easiest place to build rapport as far as the products, because it's the most impressive presentation that we have. So Mrs. Jones, do you have any kids? Like, I'll tell her to go bring her kids over, because the little kids will be excited because they want to be excited about something. They want to think something is cool. They want to be included, right? And at the end of the demo, trust me, if you have the kid right in front of the shears, even if it's like literally like right up to it, like when I cut the penny, I try to have a little bit of fun with it. By the way, I know you've cut like 73 pennies in the last day, but like Mrs. Jones has never seen this before. So what I'll do, I'm like, all right, Mrs. Jones. So I'm gonna do a little magic trick. You ready? All right, so I got my friend Mr. Abraham Lincoln, and I've got my shears. So would you be impressed if I could dent this penny? I should be like, yeah. Be like, do you have any kids? I want to show this to them. And they're like, oh, honey, comes here. Be like, all right, you see Abe? Okay, we're gonna give him a haircut. Okay, and if you know how to do this, if you can kind of go around it, right? So as you can see, we got him a little do, kind of like how the kids are wearing it these days. She cracks up. She thinks it's hilarious. And she's blown away. If you can make her excited and smile, now you're bringing two different emotions out of her. The one emotion she can't have is doubt and distrust anymore. Fun gets rid of doubt. Connection gets rid of distrust. And at this point, you're just going to be able to sell them whatever you want, because they like you and they trust you, because you just did something you said you were going to do, and it was way more awesome than they thought it was going to be. Right. And you like, held it up. And yeah, I mean, the videos are great. Next, Mrs. Jones, let's talk about the disadvantages of common knives. If you don't make the grossest face in the world, they don't trust you very much, because they don't think that you're confident enough to be silly, because you don't trust them. Because if you trusted them, you could be yourself more around them. You could be sillier. You could be like, more into it. But the only reason people are reserved, think about the people you're the most unreserved with. Aren't they the people that you're the closest with? Right? So if you're not reserved with Mrs. Jones, you're already projecting onto her that we're friends. And friends wouldn't do something that's distrustful, right? And so if you just really get into it, it builds trust, because it shows them that you think of them as a friend. And then you get into the Cutco product. Mrs. Jones, let me show you the world's finest cutlery, right? You're being a little bit fun. You're being a little silly, because I trust you to not make fun of me about it. I trust you to be excited about this, right? And so when I'm doing the demo, like, can you see all those cool like curves, right? Isn't that nice? Right? I'm going to show you the grip on it. So I just put my thumb, forefinger across the front. Okay, this is the material. I think it's actually, you don't have to have a ring, but like some people have, it's like, I think when you make that noise, it's attractive. It kind of creates like another sort of point of information for the customer's brain. So I'm like, as you can see, this material, this is called thermoresin. It also sounds kind of strong, right? Like, I'll give you some perspective. Let me find okay, even low. So that's polypropylene. It's a finer sound. Okay, and if they have like cheap, crappy plastic, like, it just sounds like cheap plastic. I don't know. I've just noticed that sometimes those sounds can be like telling for a customer. Small stuff. I'm like, did I just ruin it? Nope, it's perfect. As you can see, the steel, and make sure your steel is polished. Like, if you do this, that looks awesome. As you can see, it's like polished like jewelry. And we do like a 7-step polishing process, gets your knives to be like super, super shiny. All right, so as far as like the product, yeah, ask a lot of questions, talk about the things that they spend money on. I'm gonna zap to the end of the demo and show you how you're building rapport as you're dropping down, to make the dropping down process a little less painful. Okay, So if we're at the homemaker set, so let's flip to page number 9 or 10. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the demo here. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, it's not $4,000, not 3,015. The homemaker plus 8 set is only 1,613. And that's paid in full and includes shipping. Most of our customers take advantage of the 5 pay. It's only $352 a month. Now, if you got it today, you can get the kitchen tools, entertainer pack, or super shears. So I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, did you want to go ahead and get the homemaker set today and get your shears for free? And you just got a cheesy smile. And if they say no, be like, no problem. Mrs. Jones, let me ask you a question. Was it too many pieces or too much money? I'm going to ask that question every time I do a demo. It's a little bit off the manual. And I'm going to show you where I go with this. Look at that. Even Ben learned something new today. Too many pieces or too much money? If they're like, it's too much money, here's how I build a rapport. I'm going to make a joke out of it. So is it like $1 too much? Or like $2 too much? Or like a couple hundred too much? If they say a couple $100 too much, which obviously they all do, I'm just gonna hit them with the friends and family discount. I think it's a really, really good layup into the friends and family discount. If it's too many pieces, actually, I'm gonna sell the homemaker on that one. Be like, hey, no problem. Which are the pieces that you don't think you would use? Now, if it's just like the butcher knife, be like, perfect, galley set. Be like, you don't like the butcher knife and the galleys and like you don't think you'd use both forks? Ms. Jones, you're lucky. We actually, before we showed up to your house, we actually created a perfect set. I call this the Susanna set. Like I'm talking to Susanna. Check this out. It's literally exactly what you're wanting. I'm trying to see if I can kind of do that. And if they're like, oh, I wouldn't use the slicer, be like, you're kidding me. Okay, we got the essential set for you. Right? And so you can move through that sometimes a little bit faster too, especially if you're a little farther in the game. Now, again, I'm not telling you to skip steps, but I'm saying like you need to get excited about the next set for them because it's exactly what they're looking for. So I like to be excited about the secret weapon in that way. If they say, I need to think about it, talk to my husband, be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, like, I mean, you know your husband better than anybody. If he was like sitting here today right next to you, with a beer and just looking at the kitchen and thinking how much he really wants a set of knives, do you think that he would tell you to go for that set and stop thinking about it so much because you deserve it? Or do you think he'd tell you to look at some other options? I like to build rapport by asking Mrs. Jones, don't you think you deserve it? I mean, that's if your husband was sitting right here right now, don't you think he would tell you that you deserve it? It's a little high pressure, but if you smile really big at the end, it removes all of the pressure. So I'm like, I mean, don't you think your husband would tell you that he deserves it? It's like, because it's like, I know it's a salesy line. So I'm going to take the pressure off of it by smiling really cheesy. So it looks like I know that it's a salesy line. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. But like, it's totally cool. I'm just curious what your husband would think. All right. And so I'll be like, no problem. Next is our galley set. Close on that. And, remember to build rapport to introduce the friends and family discount. Be like, hey, how about this? We got that super sweet, sick deal. I talk like this to my customers. We got that super sick, sweet, it's the Thursday after Christmas, New Year's deal. That if you got it today, instead of it being $11.59, we can do it for the basic price also of the $8.93. Can't give you the free stuff, but we can hook you up with a $200 discount. How's that sound? Okay. All right. So those are a couple of things I wanted to teach you guys today. Small, not everything I've ever done as far as building rapport. There's always much more that I'll teach you guys next week. But we wanted to get started with some phone time today because it's the weekend after the Christmas holiday. People are shopping like crazy. This is the weekend that everyone just got all their Christmas bonuses. That weekend where people are like, hey, call me after the holidays. This is after the holidays. Now, they're not just going to bend over and be like, oh my God, of course, it's after the holidays. We're free all day long. You're not the only person that's engaging them after the holidays because they told everybody I'm free after the holidays. You're not the only person. That's why when you made phone calls yesterday, you were expecting 100% of people to answer. No. We still booked as an office 25 appointments yesterday, which was twice as much as we booked any of the other days prior to Christmas. We were booking like 10 demos a day, 25 with not that many reps. So I'm telling you, you're in a much better place right now. You just have to be persistent and make sure that you're really, really good at offering. Is this time or that time better for you? No. If you say, okay, then when's good for you? I'm going to come over there and I'm going to stab you with the bottom of this penny into your thigh. If I ever hear the words, when's good for you? I hire sales reps, not lawn chairs. So have multiple times ready to go and ready to be available. All right, let's get started on the phone. Good luck. Make sure you have your goal and your deadline by Monday. Good phone time today. And we'll get to it. Good luck, Ben. Good luck, Joshua. Phone time is here.